Most churches make the mistake of just inviting people or talking about inviting people a couple times a year, maybe at Easter and then at Christmas. In this video, I want to talk to you about how to create an invite culture. This is a game changer for most churches. Once you get this going in the church, it creates momentum. You see new people coming to the church on a regular basis, month after month, week after week, not just a couple times of the year. So in this video, I want to show you the 4-step process that we have in place to help churches do this really well. And I want to share with you just how we've helped churches implement this and what it's looked like as they have done it. So let's get into it. An invite culture is not just about an event. It's not just about promoting one thing 1 or 2 times a year. It's not just a bit about the big push before Easter, where we hand out invite cards and talk about inviting people for that Easter service. This is bigger than that. Like, how do we create that throughout the entire year so this happens on a regular basis? A real invite culture doesn't spike and then disappear. It's not just about, again, the one big event or couple of big events. It's about how do we do this all year long? The difference between a church that grows and one that's just staying steady is this invite culture. It's the most cost-effective way to grow the church. Most churches ask members why they don't invite friends, and it's not because they don't care. It's that they don't know what to say. They're afraid of being awkward. They don't know what they're inviting somebody to. If you want people to invite, you have to remove these 3 barriers. That's what these next steps will allow you to do. I want to show you these 4 parts. There's three parts that I'm going to show you, and then a 4th part that's really going to help drive it home and bring it home so you see that growth taking place at the church. These 4 pieces all work together. They if you skip one, the whole system starts to leak. So it really does fit together. And here they are. Let's start with part number 1. Nobody invites without a script. Even if they don't admit it, they need a little bit of help. Like, even if you're a tremendous extrovert, you still need a little bit of help. So give your church one simple sentence to say. Something like, we're doing something this Sunday. I think you'd like it. You want to come with me? You don't ask them to say, hey, just come to church with me. Like, that's really awkward for somebody to do. If you're asking somebody, hey, just come to church. So give them a script. Invite them to something specific. So what you can do is put this line on the screen, like in service. Like, just take a moment, put this line on the screen and teach. Have a teachable moment in service. And say it from the stage. Text it. Maybe have people put it into their phone. Repeat it in the congregation. Like, have people say it together so they get comfortable with it. So this is different than most churches do, but if we want to create an invite culture, we just have to be very intentional. Okay, part number 2. Come to church is a big ask for somebody who has never been. Okay, if somebody hasn't ever been to your church, it's just really awkward to just say to have a general invite. But if you switch that and people are inviting their coworkers, their neighbors, their family members, and they're saying something specific, come to this one thing with me, then it's a small ask. It's not general and broad. So give people a low friction entry point. Maybe it's a kids event, maybe it's a concert, maybe it's a sermon series. Maybe it's got a specific, easy event that's happening at your church where it's easy for somebody to say yes to. It's meeting a specific need of that person. So when we're thinking through what events do we have happening at our church this year, be thinking about that. How can we strategically, as a leader, church leader, put things in place where it's easy for people to say, yes, I'll come to that because it meets a need in my life. That way the congregation has an easier way to invite, again, their family members, that neighbor and coworker or friend that they might have in their life. So the smaller, more specific ask is easier to say yes to. So if your leaders never talk about who they're inviting, your congregation won't do it. So, what if you have a staff member or a volunteer share the invite story from stage? This could be them on a microphone. This could be you sharing their story. If you're the pastor or the communicator, you're just sharing a story like, "Hey, let me tell you about Bob who invited Jeff," and you're just sharing that story. Talk about it. Talk about it in team huddles and meetings. Create an invite storytelling culture. That's what'll help people get on board, because you can see other people doing it and modeling it, and it starts feeling normal, not awkward. Okay, so that's what we want. We want to create that really simple way to share those stories. And again, it doesn't have to be a big elaborate video. That'd be awesome, but it could be very simply sharing it from the stage, inserting it even into a sermon where you're making a point by sharing a story about somebody that was invited to come to church. Just creative ways to share those stories. Okay, now here's the fourth part. Okay, you have to follow up fast. If somebody invites a coworker to come to church, then it's our responsibility as leaders in the church to follow up with them very quickly, within 48 hours. Every guest needs a next step within 48 hours. Maybe it's a text message, a email, a personal outreach from somebody at the church. This needs to happen. In fact, we try to use a Connect card as a way to capture information and automate it so that there's a system in place that reaches out to people within a few hours of them visiting the church. They fill out the Connect card, they get a text message, they get emails, they get a phone call. It's all done automatically on the back end. So I made actually a video about this called for a Connect card video. So you can check that out if you want to, but there's a system that needs to be in place where that happens. So let me tell you a little bit more about where I learned this, because it's not just a theory. I've actually lived it. So in 2019, I moved my family from Kansas City to Fort Lauderdale to help Vibrant Church create a new church in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We were part of the ARC network. So ARC is the Association of Related Churches. They teach how to plant churches in a very effective way. One of the big things they emphasize is this culture of inviting. Like, we need to create that. So in our church plant, Vibrant Church, we didn't have a congregation. We had no name recognition. We were brand new to the area. There's no 30-year reputation in the community. It was all starting from zero, from scratch. So we had to build a small launch team, and several people came down from Kansas to actually help us be part of this launch team, which was awesome. And we had to build a local team there around the idea that every person on the team was responsible for inviting people they already knew, especially when they were local. So again, we got to see this unfold. Every week leading up to the launch, the team had just one job: invite people using the simple ask, not come to church, but hey, come with me, come to this thing with me. So we modeled it. We talked about it all the time. Pastor Brandon would just constantly, in every meeting, he would talk about inviting people, or he'd share a story about somebody that was invited. In fact, we actually saw a lot of people coming through invites. We did marketing tactics like Facebook ads that worked really well for us. So we had like Bonita. She came because of a Facebook ad. She was going to another church that was a large church. She saw a Facebook ad and felt like, hey, this is new church. I think I could make a difference in a smaller congregation. But then there was D'Angelo, and he invited his friends and he invited his family. And that was the mostly what we saw that grew the church was getting some people to come to the church and then inviting other people that they knew. The church grew because people kept showing up with a friend. Relational invites build trust before someone ever walks through the door. That trust is worth far more than any sort of ad spend. So here's the part most churches miss. The invite culture isn't a marketing tactic. It's a discipleship habit. You're not just trying to grow attendance. You're teaching people in your church that their faith is something worth sharing. It's something that they care about. So because it's something that's valuable, they share it. When you build it that way, it doesn't look like a marketing campaign. It's part of who your church is. It's part of being a follower of Jesus. You don't need a big budget or a new program to start this. You need 3 decisions, and you can make them by this Sunday. Pick your one line. So number 1, like pick that one-liner. You can use the one that we've given to you here in this video. Put it up on the screen. Like, what is that one-liner? Pick your low friction entry point. So what is that event or something that's happening that you can point your congregation to, like, hey, this is a really great opportunity. Could be now, it could be coming up in the next few weeks, but let's pick that out so that you have it in place. And then pick who's going to model it from stage. So you could share a story. Maybe it's you from stage sharing a story about an invite that happened, or maybe there's somebody else in your leadership team or your volunteers that can share a story. So make it small. It's not a huge ask. Make it specific so that it's a thing that we can point to, and make it repeatable. That's the whole system. That's it. It's very simple. You can put this in place by Sunday. So here's the question I want to leave with you, and I want you to actually answer it. Okay, it's not just like nodding along, right? So really think about this, because I really hope your church grows. Hopefully this video adds a lot of value to you, and you can understand what this can look like to create an invite culture in your church. So the question is, do you have an invite culture? Or do you just have an invite event that happens once or twice a year, or maybe a few times a year? Okay, and the invite culture is something that we want that has a lasting impact in the church. So if you can't answer yes to have an invite culture, then we need to create that habit, not just moments, but let's create the habit of inviting. Okay, if your church is already part of our growth plan, then you already have the Connect card system in place that's going to do that follow-up process for you. You have to do the front-end work to create that invite culture, but you already have this built in. It's already in your system. So if you need help with that, refining it, reach out. Now, if you do not have our growth plan and you want us to set it up for you, make sure you reach out to us, and we can help you understand what it looks like to work with us and have us implement this for you within your church. But thank you for joining me on this video. This is Michael with Church Brain Guide. Hopefully this is helpful for you, and hopefully makes a big difference in your church moving forward, so you see growth taking place and more lives being impacted with the gospel as a result of it. I'll see you on the next video.